I'm like thinking, who says you can't have thick hair when you're menopausal? Who says? My whole life I've had to read books and textbooks and then take tests on what the books said, but the books weren't accurate information as far as I'm concerned. Like health class, they said girls start their cycle when they're 12 years old. I'm like, it was a week after my 9th birthday. I had 3 years of trying to have, that's 36 cycles of having to deal with other people's cognitive dissonance, like teachers. When I'd go to them and I'd start, and how do you explain that a 9-year-old? Because that's not normal. Because people put in a normal range, and I never fit in it, so I came up with my own ranges. It's what I did. Look at all this hair. It's not even on the whole top of my head. I only keep it on the crown of my head because I'm a hothead. All this, there's nothing there, and I still have so much hair. So it's just, let it be a lesson to you that you got to be careful about what they say and what they want you to pay for. Because we live on a plane where manipulation wins. Everything's a game, and if you get it's like, like they think that at the end of it, because they played so many video games, like if they pile up the tallest gold coin piles, that they win. And that's not how it is. That's a weird ideology. And all that you accumulate, that you build up, I gotta turn off the heater, it's getting hot in here. All that you keep up, that you build up, and you don't ever divvy none of it out to help anybody else. You just hoard it and squander it like an old miserly miser. I don't like Christmas. I don't like holidays. I like the season, and I like the lessons that come with the season. Me and Mom, we've been watching a lot of holiday movies lately, and people would consider me the Grinch, because I don't like Christmas, but it's silly. There's so few people that celebrate it, and then when I think about all of the wasted resources, all of the stuff that ends up in landfills, because people want to celebrate something, just a small group, that everybody else is like, that's so silly. But that's what America is. If you're the odd man out, if you don't go along to get along, you're a bad guy. That's why I'm opting out of America. I'm done with America. I'm done with planet Earth. I participated diligently, dutifully, for years and years. Then I started figuring out that people that are put in charge, they're put in charge because they're the withholders. Because the powers that be know that nothing will get better under the law of the land of the stupid cousin. Of people that want it their way. And they'll get it by any means. They'll lie, they'll cheat, they'll steal. They just had an election down here in New Mexico for the mayor of Albuquerque. Albuquerque is more dangerous than Colombia at this point. Because that's what happens when you have a whole bunch of people that go around and do whatever they want without any consequence. And it's not just in New Mexico, it's in California. It's in Nebraska, New Jersey. It's in Florida. It's in the toilet state takes this toilet-shaped state of Texas. See, because borders are just imaginary lines. So we are a collective in the United States of America of people that predominantly, majorly, mostly do what they want to do, that chasing sensations. And because that is the thing, the rest of us that don't want to live that way, we just have to accept it. Just accept everything that comes away. You ever been hit in the face My brother used to punch me in the face. He was a wrestler. He also slammed my head in the car. He slammed my head into the ground too. He's lucky he didn't crack my skull open. He and his fraternity brothers would have been having to hide my body. How would he explain that to mom? Dude has a history of deceit. They all do. They all do. If you look back into the youth and the childhood of these politicians, you'll find out their psychology is made up with ideas of grandeur. They have ideas of grandeur at the same time as having an inferiority complex. That's what's wrong with the people in charge today. See, if you've never had to, if you go to work and you drive to work every day and you sit at a desk and everybody does whatever you want, you're beck and call, you're told a narrative, you're doing great, you're doing a great job, you're the best boss, but production isn't happening. Things aren't happening. Items aren't going out, work isn't being done, but they are under the perception, under the guises that they're a wonderful human being. And then they go home thinking that they work so hard doing nothing all day long. And then they tell their family how hard they worked, and they didn't really work hard. They hardly did next to nothing, really. And people get paid so much to do next to nothing. That's why I'm trying to speak into existence universal income. And if people don't want it, you can have yours diverted to somebody else if you like. That's okay. I just think that I know that there's so much for everybody on this earthly plane that nobody has to go without. And the only reason why people go without is because along the way, somewhere along the line, somebody went to get something that they needed, and that person felt inferiority complex with ideas of grandeur, put themselves in position of power. Nope, you can't have food stamps. But I qualify. It doesn't matter. I don't feel like giving them to you. And that is what the American system is built on. I was in the military, man. The fraud, waste, and abuse that I saw. And you talk about it, but people just explain it in a way that's so convincing. So, single parents continue to go on not being able to feed their kids and put coats on their kids and gloves on their kids and stuff like that. Roofs over their head just because, somebody someplace said they don't need it. They don't know it, but in their mind they're saying they don't deserve it. See, because in their mind, people that say they don't deserve it, because people are projecting all the time, they don't deserve it. They didn't do anything to earn it. And the reality of it is the person that is projecting that, they didn't do anything to earn their position in life. And they recognize that in the other person. And so they want to be the withholder. Is that a humane thing to do? Is that how a human would act? I'm starting to see the division of all the entities that live on this earth. It's hard to tell what is actually a human. What's an actual human in 2025? Is a human somebody that indulges so much that they go out every day thinking about, ooh, if I eat this, it's going to make me happy. If I drink this, it's going to make me happy. Why aren't you happy anyway? Why do you have to do something to make yourself happy? Why do people like that exist? The external. I'm the internal, see. I live my world, whole world is perceived from right in here. My whole world. Everything I've ever experienced has happened from in here. Not from what happened out there. It's because what my heart activated into and was led to do. And because I'm a light, shadow, whatever, I hate terminology, descriptive words like that. I'm a hyjacked. I'm a contrarian. I am trained by the United States government to see the discrepancies in things. And then so when I go out into the world, then I'm like, hey, that ain't a really good way to do that. That's kind of silly. I start to see everywhere where people are having other people do silly things out of a power play. Because they're control freaks. And they just want to make the puppets dance. So, people are really opening up to the reality of karma. What energy you put out, it comes back to you. It's a lesson I learned at a very young age, and I have been testing it, tried and true ever since. And so nowadays, people are putting out a lot of harsh energy, and they don't think that nothing is ever going to come back to them. I think about all the times the United States of America sent its people over to someplace else in the name of democracy and freedoms. And then they bombed the earth over there and killed a lot of people. For no good reason. No good reason we did that. For a long time, since I don't know what happened before my time, but I was coming out of Terminator 2 when they America went to war, and we started dropping bombs over there in the desert. And then I was a part of it in 2003 when we did it again, and then we just kept doing it because it's like, hey, nobody's gonna stop us, right? There is karma. When you put out boom diddy boom karma and you cause destruction, and you take what people created and you decimate it so you could pay your buddies $400,000 a year as contractors in a hazardous duty zone that you created the hazard, there is going to be hell to pay for that. And that is what is happening in the United States right now. We are getting paid back all the karma that people sat along the side of their small town Nebraska City, 4th of July parades, waving those flags just so the flag manufacturer could get rich. Because that stuff never trickles down. Because if you look around, the cracks of society in America are so wide just because people turn their head. They said, no, I don't want to see you. I know that you need help, but I'm not going to do it. Because when I needed help, it wasn't there. But, bitch, you got your job because your uncle hired you. See, because people that have never had to take care of anyone else but themselves, they have no idea what it physically, cognitively takes to help somebody go get up out of their bed, walk to the bathroom, help them go pee, and wipe their ass. Because that's what matters to a lot of people in the United States. Not elections on who they're going to be the next mayor of fucking Albuquerque. Dude sat on his stage, the guy that's the mayor, talks about heavy metal, Satan, devil. Like, everybody thinks there's all this devil, Satan shit, witchy shit is so cute. And I'm not a religious person. I think religion is stupid. It's just more means and ways to herd cats. That's all it is. Although there is a lot of knowing in religions, you get a lot of codes and keys and things like that because it's heavily coded and keyed, so people pick up on things if they have the ability to think. But if they don't, then they fall into the program of the sheeple, and then before you know it, we're paying for people like Joel Austin. You know, we've been paying for these evangelists since Creflo Dollar. And Mom used to watch those when she couldn't sleep at night. And they talk a good talk, you know, and even Joyce Myers. Oh my goodness, more people should hear Joyce Myers. I wonder how many homeless people Joyce Myers is giving a weed cookie or a gift card for $50 or a camping stove or a negative sub-temperature degree sleeping bag. Like, they don't do that. They're all false idols for profits, all of them. See, I don't have nobody paying my overhead. I live in within my means. Our rent is low. It's not the best place. Is it cold? It gets cold. Do I have the stuff to keep it warm? Yeah. Do I have to work for my comfort? Yeah. When other people are so freely given to them. People forgot what it's like to work for their own lives. They'll just pay for comfort. And money's not even real. So whatever withholding that you do in your life, I guarantee you will find out. When you go to get help, it will not be there. Because I am the contrary to that. I am the person that whenever I'm scared, I don't know what to do. We have to move again. I don't know where to go. That we're gonna be like all this fear just comes in here, and then I have to put my veil of faith on. And whenever I get scared, instead of acting out in anger or want to do something to make myself feel better, like down a fifth of Jack Daniels because I'm a whiskey girl, or something like that, I take all the energy that I have inside and I take it outside and I do something useful. Whether it's weed whacking, Highway 518, or it's, going, because everybody does that, right? Because everybody does what I do. Because everybody goes to and gets flour, ounces of flour, and makes cookies and gives it to people that feel bad. Because everybody does that. See, if more people gave of themselves, because money isn't real. Money is just something that people pie up so they can say, look at what I got. You got shit if you don't do nothing with that. You got nothing. If you got no heart, you got nothing. You are just a magnet that is drawn to the next peak frequency. Stimulation. You're just looking for stimulation. I'm looking for peace, and that's how I keep peace. Because I am all over. I'm a full spectrum being. I am all the colors of the rainbow. I am not white. I am not absence of color. If anything, I am all of the colors, not absence of color. Absence of frequency. Frequency is emotion, is tied to emotion. People that don't have frequency, they don't have emotion, you have no soul. You are that stoic that you can watch people literally fall down on the ground and people are just ignoring them. I am the one running. Don't be embarrassed. Everybody falls down. Like people don't want to share their embarrassment. It's like, I don't get embarrassed. I was a little girl, doctors did so many weird things to me. I had to pee on a radiology table one time after they put 3 liters of liquid in my bladder. And then I had to hold it for 30 minutes. They did so many weird experiments on me because we were poor. So mom wasn't educated. She wasn't going to question why they did these things. And so by the time I had to let it go so they could take pictures of me pee, because that's what they made me. I had to pee on the radiology table so they could take pictures. I've never in my life ever heard of anybody else that had a test done like that. I never heard about another 12, 13-year-old girl that had metal rods like this stuck up there. Well, I'm one of those people they gave weird hormones to. They did things that changed the natural course of my life. And then they make movies, like Trading Places. We watched that the other night. And then I see how people get bored, but they have all the money in the world. And what do? They just want to fuck with people. They want to toy with people. So they go to any lengths just to make that happen. Oftentimes just for $1. And then people do this to other people out there in society. And their defense is, no, we're not doing that. That stuff only, you're crazy. That stuff only happens in the movies. What are you talking about? That stuff don't happen. We live in a contrived reality. An imposed tribe reality. And the beings that look like the shiny things and the lights, like I do, I used to do all the false idol for profit stuff. I used to do all that stuff. I've seen Lady Gaga and freaking Taylor Swift and Social Distortion, Sarah and Tegan. I went to Tool. That was my least favorite concert I ever went to was Tool. I can't stand Tool. To me, Maynard is a creepy dude. But what you're finding out is all the false idols for profits are creepy. Because look at all the famous, like, what do? They go out there and they pretend like they're somebody else in the entertainment world, and then they go back in their house and then they do nothing. And then people are like, oh, I imagine they're a really great person. Because you don't hear about anything that they do, because they take themselves out and then they put them in, and then they present themselves as somebody that they want you to believe that they are. But they're not that way. That's one thing that's cool. I like about me is because what you see on here is what you get in the real world. You know, I see it all over social media. It doesn't matter if it's TikTok, TikTok, Facebook, Mockingbird, Twitter. Doesn't matter what it is that you have people all over the place that are trying to be somebody, and then when you see them out in the world and you treat them like they are on here, they're like, oh, no, I'm not that. That's why you're getting a lot of clashes right now, and you're getting a lot of social media people that, people cannot live a lie. They can't live a lie. They can try to live a lie. They can't live a lie for a little while, but there's not often that people live happy lives when they're living a lie. And I mean, you see it all the time. Look at all the lavender marriages they call them, gay dudes that are married to freaking women that have masculine features and mustaches and stuff, and then they go off on their boy trips. But it's not. But because in his mind, he's not, because he lives this life of a person that isn't, but he is. And then over here in the secret, they're doing things. Yeah, you are, butt stuff over there. You're doing it when you hunt. You're doing it when you go on your boy trips. You're doing all this stuff. And then the women start figuring out, dudes get mad and take all their anger out because they're living a lie on the women. And then we have prisons full of crimes of passion. Or men, because the feminine energy can sit within men just as much. And then they overcompensate. That's why I want into the databases so I can run scripts, so I can find out. I bet you the majority of Marines are Pisces men, Virgos, and Cancer. I bet you ran a script, you would find, because they appeal to the male with more feminine energy, and you get the little ones, and they're the ones that are predominantly comprised of make-up infantry. And if you're gonna join the military, you're gonna do it so you can kill somebody. Dude, we never have anybody over there that we need. This is the only land we should ever to be defending. And like when nobody's attacking us, like our military members should be working with the infrastructure, there should be no state, city, federal employees. There's just people that work in their community. That's how it should be. But they hijacked the whole sky. They hijacked this whole reality with media. You want to know what a Mandela effect? You want to know if it's the Bernstein Bears or the Bernstein Bears or Haas avocados spelled Hass or Haas as I've always known it? It's both. It's both. It's all realities exist congruently. Picture a publishing company. Oh, we have the Bernstein Bears. Let's put up on the reel, the ink reel, the Bernstein Bears. They print out all these books, okay? And they put them out to book, their cousins' book companies to distribute. And then you have the Bernstein Bears. What do? They just take this reel of this story off and put it over here and put this one and put it on here. And then they print the Bernstein Bears. And then they ship those over there. Away from the Bernstein. And if ever these two meet in the middle, they will forever disagree. They will never land on the same. People will adamantly go down with believing what they know to be true is right. And I'm like, whatever, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. You know why? Because I want to be happy. I don't want to be right. I've been right. I want to be happy. So whatever I meet in the world, I'm just going to be agreeable. I'm going to be agreeable. I'm going to accept their reality because they can't accept mine. I can get along with anybody in the world. There's no person that I can't find common ground with. There are so many people. I go out every day in the stupid little half-horse town in which I live. I haven't been out I haven't been out in over a week. It's kind of weird. And I meet people that are so disagreeable within themselves that there's no way that they're going to ever find any common ground with anybody else. And until people have that magic little switch inside them that changes, where they shift from that service to self mentality to the service for all, we're only going to see more of the dredges of society. Because wars only exist when people are at conflict with themselves. Because somebody somewhere decides we need to go over there and get them, make them pay. When the trouble with that ideology is, you do that enough, you start thinking everybody's your enemy. Because you were an enemy to nobody. Because we were an enemy to people that didn't know us, that we never lived, but we just go over there for some fairy tale reason and drop bombs and do terrible, terrible things that you would never. You think all this Tinder shit, people finding out that their husbands have these dating. You should wait till you find out what your dads and husbands and uncles are doing over there, and always have. Because it's just boys letting off some steam. And then we come back over here and then they're like, oh my God, I'm in civilized society. I can't behave like that anymore, but I like acting like that. And I can't make love to my wife anymore because I have to do violent things in order to feel like a man. And then they don't feel like men. That's alright though, because America spends $58 million on boner pills last year. I bet it's only gotten up because it was up from 11 billion in 2017 when I first looked it up and first did a talk, and now it's up to 58 million. So, because why? People tell themselves that they're men and what they need to do to be a man, but it's just all stuff they saw on TV, and that stuff isn't even real. It's a story that people make to get people to believe what they should be. And people eat it up. I'm more of a man than my brother and my dad and my grandpa put together. Why? Because I'm sober and I take care of my family. And I do what is important to take care of my family. Not going out doing a bunch of drugs, drinking a bunch of alcohol, going around screwing with whatever moves, doing a bunch of, all that. That's men to me. Then they come home, to their dutiful wife who just loves and cares for them. But they want to be out there with the lot lizard, so they get mad at her for being cool. This is what America is. So hopefully I'll get to go back. It's not cold though. Where I live, the weather is freaking. I know it's going to be hot in some places. That's going to mess with people's mind. Their internal clock, it's supposed to be cold, but everything is manipulated. I wonder what the world would be if there was such a thing as nature that was allowed to take its course. I wonder what it would be like then. I just got a message that it was so nice this morning in Oklahoma. But they're getting 30 mile an hour winds. But I guess some places are supposed to, but that's based on your frequency and what your story is supposed to be like, because we're not all living the same story here. So I just want to read real quick again the description of my page. Spiritual is spectrum. I believe spectrometers are a part of the human race that is slowed to a stroll to create things to raise the vibration of others. Scientists to make life simpler so that the plastics, that's what I call pawns, narcon, whatever, call them scum, they're just whatever, they only care about themselves, can complicate it. Artists to mix the emotions like paint on a palette, musicians to concoct harmonies that play my pineal gland like a harp, and a cathedral organ that blows bubbles. Those that do not have much to say, they haven't found their audience yet. I know that people think that nacho neurotypicals, it's like trendy and cute and stuff like that. But it's really hard to fit in a world, in a contrived reality where people don't want everybody to gain. They only want themselves and a couple of their friends to go along. And I understand that the potentiality for war is coming to a point where it's coming to a peak. So either it's going to happen or it's not. Just like when all the times I've gone out into the world and people want to get violent with me, and I will defend myself. I have been hurt so many times. I don't want to hurt other people. I will if I have to. That's not a thing. But people are so disheveled, and they've done so many crappy things to other people that now a lot of them have these things to protect themselves because they're always worried that somebody's going to come after them. Well, I'm not worried about that because I don't go after people. I speak my truth and I leave it at that. Whatever vengeance that is afforded to them, it's not mine. Vengeance isn't for me to have. Anger, whether it's justifiable for me to have, whether, somebody legitimately did something to me and I have a reason to be mad that they did that, it doesn't matter. It doesn't do me any good. It makes me sick. Anger makes people sick. Me being stressed out, maybe my dogs would have lived to be 17 like my first dog did. If I didn't have to live in such a stressful environment, because animals soothe us. When we get stressed, they soothe us and then they take on the stress and that shortens their lives. I still got 11 good years, 15, 14, 2 dogs, 14, 1, 11. Luna's still going strong. So I had to learn how to just not get mad at stuff. I once had an AA sponsor, I'd be like, but they do stuff to get me mad, and it's like my whole life people have provoked me. It's so weird. It started with my brother. And see, I couldn't tell because I had this fake, this allegiance to him, because he was my brother, but he hated me. So he didn't treat me the same. And so I had to defer, I had to figure out, who the straight man was. You want to figure out people's behavior, watch old movies. One of the greatest character, like how to learn how people behave, of human behaviors kind of stuff is a show that used to be on in the 70s. It started the year I was born in 74. And it's called the Rockford Files. And they have episodes in there There's this one where the Aryan nation, where they're like the Aryans, where this guy's a part of a club, and they're all machismos. They're all like men are the superior race and all this stuff, and they eat there. They drink special smoothies with fucking vitamins in it. You know what vitamins are? Like cocaine, amphetamine, shit like that. And then I see where like the people that are in positions of power now, like where they watch that show and they have taken on that air, that mentality, that attitude, and how they progress throughout the years. And how I could be like the people, you know, I could be so successful. I did because I know how to math so good. I know how to act. I just got to a point I don't want to act no more. But I did it. I did it for years. I acted like I cared about this, you know, this CEO being rewarded for their third quarter. Like, none of that stuff impacted my life. None of that stuff helped me with Mom. None of that stuff, you know, none of that stuff ever mattered to elections. Like, what, like, statistics, all that stuff. Because I learned a long time ago that the people that collect the data, they're collecting a paycheck. So who's to say, you know, if their boss says, okay, that's what the data says, add these numbers to it. Data's just as easy to manipulate as the people that collect the data. And if people have a history of deceit, and then they're trying to tell you they're a person of integrity, that creates a great deal of cognitive dissonance on planet Earth because people want to believe. They want to believe that people are mostly decent. People are not mostly decent because they're not willing to help anybody but themselves, and that is not the decent way to be. And if all the times that people have said, you should have made better choices. What the fuck is that? Who is given choices on how to conduct themselves in America? When you have somebody else that you care about that can't take care of themselves. Who has choices? No, we gotta bend over and take it from whoever's that's gonna give us enough so that we can feed our family. That's what people without choices do. We're not given. That's why people do drugs and drink alcohol, is because people aren't given choices. I was not given the choice to learn how to work on cars and be a mechanic when I was a 3-year-old little girl like I wanted to do. Why? Because I had a higher aptitude than the men around me that were working on it. And people aren't open and, oh, okay, constructive criticism, oh, okay, I'm willing to. People don't want to learn from a child. And then when I grew up, people don't want to learn from a woman, or people don't want to learn whatever their biases are. If I had a square foot for all the people that didn't want to deal with me because of what my kind was, and I'm like, what's my kind? Well, you're gay. Am I? Because I haven't been on a date since 2016. So how gay am I? I haven't seen a woman that was attractive with my own 2 eyes that wasn't potentially my cousin in 5 years since I moved to this town of Taos, where they care more about how the city's said than how crappy people are treated in the city. That makes all the sense, doesn't it? It's so funny when you read articles in other parts of New Mexico, Taos isn't even acknowledged. Taos is its own place. Like, Taos is on its own. Like, you could, like, even VA stuff. Like, it's all the counties, you know, Silver City, VA this, VA that, over here. Nothing in Taos. Taos is the place that they will sell you their shitty house in Taos for $698,000, and then they'll leave all their crappy furniture in it like they're doing you a fucking favor. Taos is the place that they'll sell you their junk, dirty, filthy junk, for 3 times what it's worth, and then give you an attitude. That's Taos. Taos. It's like it's not just it's every town. It's small town Minnesota. It's small town Arkansas. It's all these places where some people were given advantage, while the rest just go do whatever and don't cause problems. While all these people are living the life that they want. I think about what I could have been if I would have been able to. If I had the advantage and the privilege of having privilege and being able to sit on my grandpappy's lap and work the combine. You know, because I could have done it. Like, my aptitude was so great. But people with aptitude in America aren't set up to succeed. Because you're going to be taken away from somebody that has no practical skills. And their whole entire family of people that don't have practical skills. They're all hamsters in a wheel. Whenever I see people running races on a bicycle, you know, like I hear people like this one guy. I listened to his talk the other day. He's some sort of spiritual guru that's so important. He's gonna take time off from spreading knowledge and truth to go, you know, get his paid content over here. And I like what a guy had to say. And then he says stuff like, "I'm an avid bike rider." Oh yeah, you're an avid bike rider? You're a hamster in a wheel is what you are. When people do the same thing over and over and over, and there is nothing at the end, there's no cheese at the end that helps anybody else, but it's just people all people do is go out and do what they want for themselves. They are completely driven. They travel from one country to the other to get away from who they were in the last country because they can't stand themselves. Are people figuring out wherever you go, there you are? That's why I don't care where we live. I don't care. It doesn't matter where we live as long as me, mom, and you know the critters are together till then I get, you know, then we could find another place to be because we don't like it here. Although the weather is nice, I just don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like when I go out in the world, I'm all friendly and smiley, and I meet people that are like, I hate myself generationally. I'm not going to change their mind. I don't want to change it. I'm not an influencer. I'm a person that did the fucking work. And I'm surrounded by people that didn't. And now they're mad about their positions in life, and they want to take it out on me. Because I used to be the person that was mad about my position in life, and I would go out and take it out on others. Yep. It's true. I don't want to be like them. So I don't go skiing and I don't go snowboarding because all that stuff. It's just like people go here to do this thing and then they go here to do the same thing over here and then they spend all these resources and use all this gas and go and it doesn't benefit nobody. So here we go. Think we'll be all right, Mom?
Yeah.
We always seem to be okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I had this weird thing happen. I have a cousin. She's older than me. She's Mom's age. I never met the woman. Found each other on DNA, you know, but one of those DNA things, ancestor, whatever. She wrote me and I wrote her and we started. And so I have this cousin that I've never met. You know, I don't worry about people like, you know, whatever. My own family has it. It's just a weird situation. I get to learn a lot about myself. And so she has a bunch of cats, so I help her with her cats because she doesn't have a lot of income. And so on the 2nd, which was last Wednesday, I believe, I sent her a Chewy package. And I've been getting Chewy packages for 2 years where I live. And it's only been a few months ago that I started ordering her stuff too. And so, because that's what you do, you help people when they need it, and when you need help, that help is there. And so, I shipped her this like $160 worth of cat food, and those little tube treats and just stuff for. I think she has like 9 cats. So I sit there, and then it was supposed to be there. What, Friday, Saturday, 3 days. It's always taken 3 days. Never taken more than 3. Well, there's been a time that it's come in two boxes, and one day it'll come. One box will come. The next day, the other box will come. But this day, it didn't come on the third day. Didn't come on the fourth day, and I kept getting email notifications, and it was just stuck in Texarkana. And I'm just like, okay, we're in a weird timeline thing. It's a weird thing. Okay, just acceptance. Because whenever I try to force things and manage things is when things get wonky. So finally, but her cat needs food. And so I'm like, well, last night I went against my gut. I said, I'm going to go ahead and order more food to replace it tomorrow. And I bet whatever, there's probably a storm or something. And it probably, like, it just, because humans are so fallible. You just have to take everything with a grain of salt. And then I was going to order today, and then I said, well, you know what? I'm just going to order now, and then it'll go out tomorrow. Because I can't count on this other order that never showed up. And that's what I did. And sure as shit, this morning got an email. Your original order's going to... It's just... And people are so stuck in the conception that if this, then that. Like, you're guaranteed an outcome if people have a desire. And that's not how the world works. It's so bizarre. You just, but there has never been a time in years and years that I didn't think, if I'm going to get this thing, it's supposed to be for me. If I don't get it, I'm not supposed to have it. And that's how I've always conducted my life. And I can't tell you how many times I go to the grocery store and I get the last 18 pack of eggs and none of them are broke. Like, you know what I mean? It's just trusting and believing that if I keep myself the right size, ego balanced with spirit, to me, spirit is my connection to God. God is that connection in good orderly direction, doing the right thing. There's too many beings on this planet that are not connected to that source. They're connected to their own desires, and it's going to make things weird. Things are getting weird as it is, but it's only going to get more weird. Proceed with caution. Proceed with caution. I got to go to the store. I haven't been to the store since last Sunday. It's just good to know that I can go that long without having to go. So I've been in limbo like my cousin's Chewy order. But it's all right because I don't have to go anywhere to see like beautiful sunsets and sunrises and stuff. All I got to do is go outside, and because I keep myself calibrated by choices that I make, that I am the perceiver. So when I go outside and I perceive a beautiful world, it's there. So I just am reminded often, don't worry about what's going on out there. We're at that part in Raiders of the Lost Ark where Indy says, don't look until I tell you. Don't get caught up in all that greed. In the golden river or stream or whatever. For me, it's the tried and true. It's the balance is the key. It's not the spikes of frequency or the dips. It's equilibrium in between the two. But I got a lot of dual energy. I got 3 planets in Pisces and 2 in Gemini. I got Mars and Saturn in Gemini in the 12th house. And then my Pisces, they're floating around there, the 8th and 9th house, and Venus, Mercury, and Venus, Mercury, and Jupiter is where my hangs out. So I'm like back and forth. It's all my mutable. And then one of my nodes is in Gemini. I'm very versatile. So rigid people and me, they don't like me, I don't like them. People have only one way of thinking. We don't get along because I'm looking at things from so many different angles. It says so on my horoscope all the time. I get this app and then it says, I wonder what it says today. Your anger is a small child whose opinions and feelings weren't validated. And that's what I have to remember. That's why I can't be mad, because I'm not a child. I'm a grown-ass woman. That flash of rage surprised you. It's not about today's small slight, but the 100 times you swallowed your no. Those unspoken boundaries are finally demanding attention. Hear them out before dismissing them again. But what was it the other day? It was, yesterday it was, you'll heal. The scars remain, but wounds stop bleeding. What happened can't be undone, but its power over you will fade. Stop bracing against the pain. Look at it directly. You're stronger than you know. Not because you ignore it, but because you face it. That's what people are doing right now. They're just ignoring all their problems, and you have to face your problems because they're going to come at you if you don't. It might be in different faces, you know. It might not be like a man in a cave coming over here and dropping bombs on us, but it's the perceiver that did it to them, thinking that they're always going to have to protect themselves because we went over there and did that. See, it's that stuff. It's distrust begetting distrust. Boy, the scammers are scamming nice, aren't they? Okay, where's that other one? I want to read one more. Oh, I learned something about astrology from that Phoenix guy. I've heard people talk about it. The out-of-bounds planet. And I found out, it doesn't make sense though, because I used the calculator that it recommended. And it says that my Mars, it says right there, Mars out of bounds, 24 degrees, 0.51 north, right? But on this next page, here it says, when I turned 37, Mars became out of balance. Or Mercury became out of balance. Then it says, age 44, Mars ceased to be out of balance. But this one says that it still is. So that's why I don't have faith in technology. Because it's programmed by a person and people are fallible. And I catch my human computer interface abilities are like unparalleled. So I did learn that considered out of bounds when it's funny because his girlfriend has the same planet that's out of balance. And she's like really independent is what he's saying. I'm like, dudes that want high maintenance dudes want low maintenance women. That's fucking hilarious. She'll be so good on taking care of herself, I'll never have to do nothing. What a kind and loving partner. Virgos are weird to me. My sister, I'm an Aries, female Aries with too much masculine energy that was in a Virgo sibling sandwich. And my younger sister, 9 years younger, she's dead because she's, when you just do whatever you want and you never just listen to that voice that says, don't do that. That ain't a good idea. That'll cause harm to you or someone else. And then they got that, little devil in them going, oh, go, just do it anyway. It'll be fun. It cost her life. Not only did it cost her life, it cost her life on her daughter's 18th birthday. And it also cost her life on her granddaughter's 2nd birthday. So if that isn't going to be a lesson to you on self-will run riot for her granddaughter and her daughters, I don't know what would be. But people in America are just conditioned to go out and chase that dragon, whether that dragon is the excitement of a roller coaster or the dragon, like chase the dragon. One of the dragons that is one of the most annoying dragons to me is the whole Disneyland dragon. Why is my FYP full of all the NPCs that are living that storyline? That's not my world. I don't want that world. Not interested. Sports, not interested. Entertainment, no interest in it. It's so hard for me to watch shows that I once watched that have the actors of what they evolved into. Like Mom watched last night, she never seen Polar Express, and she never had a childhood. She didn't get to do all the fun stuff. Like I said, we like holiday, or we don't like holidays, we like the season. And we like music and stuff like that. And she likes that stuff. It stimulates her. And she engages with it. And I just want to keep her engaging. So I put that on for her last night. And I've seen it 100 times. Because I used to hate Christmas. I hated it. I hated it until I made myself listen to Christmas music. And then I started liking it. Like, I started liking the things that made it up. But not what it represents. Because to so many people, because it doesn't mean the same thing to me, because I was always odd man out and we never had money, so Christmas is, I never spent Christmas, I always worked, like it's nothing to me. It's just, but other people would try and make me feel bad because I didn't want to go along with their stupid reindeer games. Like, don't spoil it for... Where do all of us that don't give a shit about other people's stupid made-up stuff, where do we get to go to just live our lives regular, you know? Well, I'm always the asshole because Santa's not real. Like, but you people tell your kids that he is. You lie. That's the beginning of the American psyop, is Santa Claus. And when I was a kid, I think it's weird that we didn't sing "Oh Christmas Tree." No, we sang "Oh Tannenbaum," because we had a German freaking Class A. But I can yodel. I can yodel. I can yodel, and I can wiggle my ears, and I have the ability of telekinesis, and I can read minds. Psychic, intuitive, all the way around. But see, that's the funny thing about physics and like attracts like. Is that's why my channel will never grow. That's the funny thing is, like, I don't do these talks because I need my channel. It will never grow. You want to know why? I'll tell you right now. Because I don't subscribe to people. I appreciate people's opinions, and I find their viewpoints very valid in a lot of ways, and I use it all as data to form my own. I don't want to subscribe to people, and based on that, my channel will never grow, because the people that watch my channel, they will also be the people that don't subscribe to people. So who does YouTube videos without giving a care if anybody ever watches their YouTube videos? Because I don't care. Because this is a textbook. My whole channel is a textbook of history from my perspective. Yeah. And more people are starting to pick up my perspective. More and more important people are starting. Oh my goodness, politicians don't care about me? Really? I never lived in a world where they did. So that's what's kind of cool about how things are changing for me right now, is more people are actually starting to see the world how I see it, how I perceive it, without any freaking fluffy veil. And maybe if more people start doing that, then things will actually change for the better for more people. And if it doesn't, oh well. Peace within begets peace outside. So as long as I do what I need to do to stay a peaceful being, then I really don't have to concern myself with much with anybody or anything else. You know? You got to be careful though, because there's a lot of people that are tuned into weird storylines. Their ideologies, their beliefs, you know, their definitions of what it is to be something that they want to be. Peculiar. Discernment is paramount. Discernment is always crucial. They just, you know, everything is a test and tool of discernment. Everything is. Where you put yourself, how you respond to things. It's getting really weird out there. So I don't have to go out and go to work every day to give my time to somebody else so that I can get paid money, so I can give my money to other people, so that they can get off my back, so I can live in enough peace to be cool enough to go out and rinse, repeat. That's what I got for now. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you have a rad day.